Hey guys, quick reminder before we get into the video. I just want to say that this is my first episode, and we're in past events now. But I want to say that this is before I got a new camera. This is before I figured out the mic. This was kind of like a trial run, figuring out what everything was going on. And one, I don't know how to talk in front of a camera. I'm very nervous, the whole 9 yards. So give me a little bit of grace here. Next upcoming episodes are a lot better. I recorded this after I went to the playback, and I have to be authentic, so I'm gonna upload it anyways. But just give me some grace. Anyways, let's do this thing. How you doing? How you doing? Do it anyways. How you doing? Mic check. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. We're looking good across the board. Hello, everybody! Welcome back. Not really welcome back. Welcome in for the first time, first edition. Welcome in. This is it. Yeah, we hyped this up for quite some time. I have got to stop sticking my finger in there. That actually hurt. Anyways, I've been hyping this up for a little bit, and just working towards being able to do it. So here we are. This is Bird's Brain Podcast, presented to you by How You Doing Media. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my media company and my podcast all brought together. It's going to be a YouTube channel full of fun and exciting things for however long I feel like doing it. I took a little bit of a break there for a while on TikTok. I'm getting back into it, and I've been posted for a couple of days by now. This will be posted, I'm not even sure when, but we're going to get it posted. Listen, majority of what I wanted to talk about tonight is mainly just my purpose, why I kind of wanted to do this, give you the backstory and the idea that I had, and how I basically told myself, like, this is what you have to do. This is a fun adventure, and this is what you're going to be able to do essentially for the rest of your life. And not only do I have a passion for it, but I feel like I've had a calling for it, and everything else. Nonetheless, I guess I've really never done this before, but we can get straight into it. A lot of people ask me the question of this right here. Why are you crazy enough to think that you could do social media? And to be honest with you, the answer to that question is, me personally, I've been so delusional all my life. I've loved filmmaking. I've watched YouTube since I was a very, very young kid. And I was always inspired by not the people around me, but the people that I watched. I watched Roman Atwood back in the day, Casey Neistat, FouseyTube, all of the amazing creators that they kind of did like daily vlogging style videos, and then they all grew up, and then the podcast space started, and then I started watching Chris Williamson and Joe Rogan and everybody that does podcasts. And I've always just had a dream for filmmaking. It was one of like the most, I guess you could say, like thoughtful and near and dear to my heart type of thing, because not that I've loved being in front of a camera, but more of the fact that I love showing art in a sense, I guess you could say. Like, I see filmmaking as an art. When I go watch a movie, I see it as art. I see these guys, turning their passion into a movie or a YouTube video or a podcast or whatever, however you want to put it. But I've just had a passion for it. And honestly, I'm just so delusional that I love to take a bet on myself, and I feel like taking this kind of bet on myself is one of, if not the riskiest thing I've ever done in life, because I hold down a regular job, but I also do this on the side. So I kind of devote all my time to my regular job throughout the week, and then on the weekends I'm devoted to my girlfriend and doing this and filming, taking pictures, doing, across the board. It's my life, I think, is hectic to say the least. I'm recording this now on Memorial Day weekend, and it has been like 4 days of just somewhat relaxation, but somewhat chaos. We've done a lot, yada, yada. Nonetheless, the next question that a lot of people ask me is, I base my life off of biblical teachings. I had had a very prevalent, uh, my family likes to call it like come to Jesus moment. There in, what was that, October of 2025, I think. I had like October of 2025. I had a come to Jesus moment. I went to sleep one night, and to preface the story a little bit, so you can get an insight on the journey that I've had. When I was younger, we went to church every Sunday, and then there for a while we stopped. We found another church. We started going on Sunday again. I was really devoted to it. I got baptized by my pastor Jason at the time, which we still stay in contact. We visit his church that he's in now. He's in Lawton, Oklahoma, and we visit him ever so often. Nonetheless, then I strayed for a couple years. I had some problems within my life. Life got a little bit heavy, being a teenager, however you want to put it. And when I turned, what was that, 22? Yeah, I turned 22 in September, and I was, on the wagon, but I was kind of just riding. Um, I wasn't like making any moves or doing things to better myself or learn the Bible more or anything like that, or actually have that personal relationship with Jesus. I was like, uh, I guess you could say, like, as long as I have the ability to tell people that I go to church, I'm okay. Like, as long as I know the stories in the Bible, I'm cool. And then when it came down to uh, that night in October, I think it was within the first week of October, because it had been knocking on my heart for a while. And my mom will tell you, she's like, "Oh, I prayed for you for so long," and all of blah 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 blah. There's a whole everybody has their side of the story. Everybody has their aspect. But for me, it was that night in October. I went to bed, and being the guy that I am, I won't talk about it too much, but I sat down, went to bed. I had this very, very like prominent dream. I can remember almost everything to a T. And it went a little like I was in a field. Um, Not only was I in a field, but I was in the middle of the field. And I was just walking around. And all of a sudden, I seen like in the off distance coming towards me this guy like in a white robe, um, probably about as tall as me, whatever. Spare you the details. Ended up being Jesus, and he came to me and he said, "Listen, basically, to sum it up, you're gonna have to start doing what I want you to do. You're gonna have to start following my way and stop living for yourself. Stop living for the world. Stop idolizing the things that you shouldn't." And after the extensive conversation that him and I had in the dream, I woke up and I felt way different. I felt like a different man, and in the moment, it had changed me. It was one of those situations where it lights a fire underneath of you so hot that that's all you want to talk about for the next week. I think my mom can attest. I think for like 2 weeks straight, I was like telling anybody and everybody I could about this dream and how on fire about it I was. And it was one thing right after another. I had that dream, and then I got the idea, the revelation, whatever you want to call it, to start doing these TikToks, to start brewing this idea for the podcast, start doing all of these things, and becoming, I guess you could call it kind of like a Bible scholar without going to college. I learned very rapidly. I've always learned very rapidly, but I'm still learning every single day. I learned the Bible very quickly, reread the stories, understood a lot of the scripture very quickly, and started giving insights on what I thought was more like my side of the story. What did I take away from the scripture? And I posted on TikTok, and I prayed about it really hard. I was like, hey, it was a time in my life where I wasn't really happy with my job, my day job, and I was looking not so much for an out, but a better option to uh, not like quit my job or anything, but get my mind off of it to where I could focus on something else that was going to help me find happiness that I needed at the time. And if I have to be honest now with the break that I've taken, I think that was the worst part. Was I was asking for I was asking God to take away my happiness at work and change it into pleasing other people, and that kind of like changed drastically changed me in a different way, and that's why I ended up having to take a break from the TikTok and social media and just take a minute to step back and understand like it's not about pleasing people. It's not about this. It's not about okay, what do the people need to hear today from the Bible? What do I need to teach them that may not apply to me whatsoever, but may on happenstance apply to them? And I kind of got mixed up in that whole world, and it just became routine, and it was getting sloppy. So I sat down one night and I prayed, and I told God that if I just needed a break to allow me to take a break and continue to find Him, get closer to Him, further my relationship with Jesus, and I would come back to it when He felt that the time was right. And then now everything's fallen into place, and here we are. It's been great. It's been up and down. It's been, in my opinion, stressful just because I struggle with control in certain aspects, especially with something like this, because you sit down and you put a paycheck towards the equipment and the software system and all the subscriptions that you need, blah 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 blah. Now we're four paychecks deep, and we're just now figuring it out. And I could have saved myself so much more time and money if I would have just listened to Him and done it right the first time. Listen, I want to show you. This is kind of cool. I've got multiple camera angles. How you doing? How you doing? Got one over here. How you doing? I'm gonna be switching them periodically. I know I'm not the one to point it out, but I know that there's probably gonna be some people that'll be like, "Oh, the second and third camera quality's not the greatest." Da da da. Like the tall camera, oh, it's a little bit distorted. You can see way too much. I know you can see my countertop. I know. Listen, I'm not gonna hide anything from you because there's no reason that I need to hide anything from you. I'm an honest and genuine person. Like, let me be straight up with you. This camera right here, it is sitting on top of a box of cashews with a candle. So it's a box of cashews with a candle and then the camera. That's how we're rolling right now. And like right now, didn't even notice my Sonic T totally was in the shop. This one, this one's on top of a tote with a board across the top on I think it's like 60-inch tripod or something. It's just extended all the way up, and I wanted a wide angle shot. And this one, simply MacBook camera, baby. We're working with what we got because I've learned that you just need to make it work with what you got. I film all of my other videos on my iPhone. Eventually, I will have a camera when I can afford a camera and learn how to edit and all the whole 9 yards and shoot with a proper camera, whatever. Right now, iPhone 17 Pro Max. That's what we use to film the vlogs and all of the other stuff. But nonetheless, listen, another topic that I want to talk about, and it simply just goes, okay, I need to stop flipping the camera. It goes like this. And simply enough, it's said, there's a question that I get a lot of the times from certain individuals, especially when they hear my testimony, when they hear my plans for everything, when they hear about what my life ambitions are and how much I'm going to bet on myself to win in the end, just because I want to serve God. And it goes a little bit like this. The first question that always gets asked is, what is the purpose of my passion? And I have to say this. As cliche as it sounds, it goes like this. It's better for me to try and wake up a new and better person every single day with Jesus in my heart than it is to continue to live the hate-filled life that I lived before, because I did nothing but wake up and be mad at the world for the simple fact that I was breathing and I had to go to work. And that has all changed because of Jesus, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I still have my moments. I still have my days, just as anybody would. But now it's 1,000 times better. I mean, I genuinely enjoy my life. And the other question that people always ask, and somebody is always going to have something to say. Whether you share your dreams, your aspirations, whatever it is, they're always going to have something to say. And you just have to be able to brush that off and continue to do you. I'm going to tell you right now, if you took a room full of 10,000 people, I guarantee at least 5,000 of them are going to be like, why are you in your kitchen with a cashew container and a candle with a camera and a piece of board and a box? And why are you doing this? And it's simply put, because I want to. Because I had the calling and feel that I need to do this sort of thing to help people in some capacity. Whether it's just to pick me up for the day, whether it's a life lesson, whether it's what. But back to what I was saying is the other question that I get asked all the time is, are you, however you want to put it, doing this for monetary value? And simply put, absolutely not. Because it's not, if I was going to start doing social media, if I was going to start a media company, if I was going to do all of these things just for money, I would have hired my own employees. I would have done all these things, blah, blah, blah. I would have done things a lot differently to start maximizing my equity and my profits as soon as possible, because that's what owning a business is. And listen, at the end of the day, this profit's absolutely zero. I'm doing this for the love of the game. I'm doing this for the passion that I have for Jesus Christ. Being able to say, you can do a little bit better today. I can do a little bit better today. Your dog can do a little bit better, and so can your sister. And if mine is out there, I really hope that you did better today. Anyways, monetary value. I have absolutely none. If I got to be frank, I hate money. I think it completely ruins a lot of things. And I've always told myself that if I did run into money, it would be given back. It would be put towards things that actually matter, not a 5,000 million square foot house with a 16-car garage that's empty. It makes no sense. You don't need that. I'm perfectly cool with my 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, no matter how much money I have. I'm more invested in I don't even know if you can say like doing God's work, like donating to charities and research programs and saving animals and the whole 9 yards. Nonetheless, monetary, absolutely zero. I'm making right now in this current moment, I make absolutely zero. If I make any money from it, I can tell you right now, it's gonna be invested back into research programs and saving animals and missionary programs and all aspects of whatever God inclines me to do with my money is what I will do with it. And I can promise you, number one fact is not going to be building a ginormous house that will be empty. Not going to happen. Anyways, on to another note. Think about it like this. I get asked all these questions, and people ask me, across the board, because when you become or come to know Jesus, the way that I put it is come to know Jesus, allow him into your heart. You get quite a bit of criticism very quickly because one, they think that you follow this cult religion that just is like, if I do good, I get good in return. If I'm nice to God, God's nice to me, blah, 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 blah. So on and so forth. And it's one of, if not the most ridiculous claims I've ever heard, to say Christianity is a cult, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't see it that way. And I don't see it as me being a Christian. A lot of people will get up in arms about that, and I've had conversations about it, and people do get up in arms about it. And they get up in arms about it because why? I say that I believe in Jesus, but I don't call myself a Christian. I call myself a follower of Christ because I'm more worried about knowing Jesus Christ himself, having that personal relationship with him and talking to him on a day-to-day basis and saying, hey, I know I messed up. I know I did wrong, and I seriously need forgiveness for this, and I need you to give me the ability to overcome this, to overcome my problems, to overcome my bad habits, to do all of these things. So Christianity, there's a lot of people out there that'll tell you it's a cult. I don't. Anyone that is a Christian, that's a Jew, that's a Muslim, that's whatever religion, even if you denounce Jesus Christ, if you denounce Jesus Christ and say, oh, he's just a good historical figure, blah, 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 whatever, listen, Jesus says to still love those. He says, love your enemies and take care of them just as if they were believers themselves. Now, on the contrary, he says, non-believers aren't going to get into heaven. I choose to love them anyway because I know that they can have that moment to where everything changes and they start to live the life that they need to live. But inside of that conversation is that I'm not due to be the one to say that, to force them, to be the one that pounds it into their thick skull that Jesus is the answer. They have to figure that out on their own with their personal encounter with Jesus and then move forward with that story. And that's when I will come into play and help them understand and teach and do all of the things. So, Christianity, to me, not a cult. All of the other religions, let's go ahead and love them anyway, even if they denounce Jesus, because they'll have their moment. I know they will, and it doesn't even matter if it's at their last breath. Another thing that I want a lot of people to understand while you're listening to this, especially if you know me personally, you won't have such a hard time with it. But if you're an outsider looking in, it's your first time seeing me, knowing me, coming to the podcast or enjoying any of my content, it goes a little bit like this. I suffer from, not so much suffer, but I enjoy the disorder of ADHD, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, or something of the sort. My brain works at 1,000 miles an hour, and my mouth works at 100. I have way more thoughts than I can get out and talk about, and so therefore, I lose my train of thought. I'll ramble on for a little while. I lose focus. Sometimes what I say doesn't make sense, and I could talk about 50 different topics all at the same time and still have no idea what I'm talking about. So the only thing that I really recommend is bear with me. I'll get through it, and I'm learning every day how to. I'm 22 now, but I still learn every single day how to deal with it, how to cope with it, how to be a better person and be able to get my thoughts across. Because I believe in the book of Ephesians that you are able to, at some point, through the teachings of Jesus Christ and the acceptance of Jesus Christ, that you are able to gain all of the spiritual gifts that Ephesians talks about. And that goes on, and I can show you here, which, first of all, it's going to be teaching, talking. Hold on. I have the whole diagram here. I think it's, wait, hold on. Was it? I thought it was Ephesians. Oh, it is. Okay, spiritual gifts, roles. Teacher, ruler, prophet, pastor, helper, evangelist, apostle, wisdoms, and these are like abilities. Wisdom, service, mercy, knowledge, hospitality, generosity, exhortation. Sorry, not extortion. We don't. I don't think we participate in that. I'm not sure. Administration, and then you have dynamic gifts of prophecy, discernment of spirits, healing, miracles, tongues, interpretation of tongues. And then you have essential gifts, which is faith, hope, love, and presence of the Holy Spirit, which those, self-explanatory to themselves. I'm not here today to explain the Bible. At some point, I will explain the book of Ephesians to you in a very, very fun way. I'm a very fun guy when it comes to explaining the Bible because I am violently aggressive in the fact of I don't learn properly, so you're probably not going to either. But listen, it's like this, and this one's going to be short and sweet, and we're going to talk about it to the point of I learn in different ways. People enjoy to watch me learn, and people enjoy time to time learning how I learn. I also struggle with looking at a camera, if you have not noticed yet. I get insane, high, intense social anxiety. There's nobody behind the camera, but it's the fact that it's a camera and it's in my face. But we're getting over it because how are you gonna own a media company but can't be in front of a camera? Nonetheless, from time to time, I can make you laugh, I can make you cry, I can make you mad, I can do all the things. That's just the gifts that I acquire as a person that suffers and enjoys ADHD. Um, yeah, I mean, it's more of in this situation, like right now, since this is the first episode, we do whatever. You learn the quirks, you learn the passion, you learn the purpose, you learn all of these things, who I am, what I believe in, yada yada, so on and so forth. And then we like get into the second episode and we warm up a little bit more and we jump into it and we talk and we have fun and the whole nine yards. And you learn some crazy stuff because it's crazy how the world is tied together. It's crazy how certain aspects are tied together, how people are tied together, how history is a lie, how all these things coincide with each other and somehow root back to the Bible. It is quite odd to me how this works out, but it all works out, and I'm learning as I go. I gotta be better about looking at the camera. Um, Another thing, I know I'm like explaining a lot here, but I want you to know with the deepest regards and love in my heart. Like I said, I suck at looking at cameras, but here's what I do have to say. I suck at looking at cameras, but don't worry about what I'm doing. Just listen to the words that I'm saying. I know that kind of sounds like cult leader type esque stuff, but I promise I'm not like a cult leader. It's gonna take a little while for us to all, get normal with each other, and especially um, talking about these topics because everybody has their personal opinion, and they're always going to be, like I said earlier, they're always going to have something to say, and I don't take criticism that well, especially if it's negative and not constructive. Um, yeah, I can be yelled at straight in my face and have absolutely no problem with it, but if you like bash me or whatever, that kind of crosses a line. But I'm not gonna make this one too long. Probably like 40 minutes or so. Anyways, nonetheless, it'll be edited. It'll be fun. Kind of, probably not, because I'm just like explaining the gist of everything. But whatever. Here's what I have to say, and I'm gonna touch on this quite a bit, and I'll always touch on this quite a bit because it is one of my favorite things to talk about, but also one of one of my most favorite things to actually have to endure in this lifetime, and that's the art of just not. Who is outside? Anyways, somebody's outside my house. It's just simply this: the art of not caring what other people think about you. If you ask my girlfriend, or you ask my mother, or you ask anybody within my immediate family, you can confidently have a conversation with them, and they will tell you, I have no bone of embarrassment inside of me. I will do the most random and annoying, obnoxious things that you have ever seen in public. I'm not saying like provocative or horrible or something that somebody should never do. You have to in this life be you. You can't be what Joe Schmo wants you to be, or the kid down the street wants you to be, or your grandma wants you to be, or your dad wants to be, or your mom wants to be. No matter their influence, you have to be who you are. And if that's the weird, quirky kid that drinks the fountain water at the local Mexican restaurant because I had an intrusive thought and I thought it was, a great idea, that's who I'm going to be. I'm not going to let anybody else tell me otherwise. And I'm not going to do any differently. There's absolutely no way that you're going to change my mind and tell me, one, that I can't do that, and two, that it's a dumb idea because now you've already challenged me, so I'm going to do it anyways. But always be true to yourself. Always be who you want to be. Don't ever let somebody tell you how you need to be or what you need to do. Well, granted, unless it's at work, listen to your boss, please, for the love of God. Don't get yourself fired. I sometimes struggle with that because I'm not. Anyways, that's a conversation for another time. Always be who you're intended to be. Don't ever fight the feeling of being someone else. It's as simple as that. And I take life lessons, mentorship, however you want to put it, from a man that is a well-renowned movie star. His name's Matthew McConaughey. A lot of you probably know who he is, but he has a lot of clips on the internet, and he's a very motivational guy, and that's who I learned from. And that is like one of his 5 staple pieces to life, is be who you're going to be. And within side of that, I'll say this as well. Be yourself, and in every single thing that you do, even when it comes to being yourself, don't half do it. Don't be the guy that's like, oh, I'm just gonna like, and I'll take it exactly how he says it. Like, don't dip your toe in. Don't be the guy that's like, oh, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna feel the water. No, if you're gonna do it, you gotta jump in both feet. You gotta jump in as hard as you can, belly flop if you want. That's what I would do. But get in the water. Jump as hard as you can, and never, ever, ever look back, because that could be the jumping in full fledged could be the difference between success and failure. And granted, you can fail 1,000 times, but you can't fail if you never jump, right? You can't succeed if you never jump. Null and void situation. Anyways, I'm not here to be like the super inspirational guy. Yeah, you're supposed to just be getting to know me. Stop forcing me to say these things. No, we're kidding. Nonetheless, back to the topic. Be yourself. Don't ever have to do anything. Do it all the way. Jump in both feet and be that guy. Because that's who I want to be. That's the mission behind this. That's what I need to do. I have to stop being scared. I have to start doing more. I have to be, one of the things that I told myself was like, oh, I want to start vlogging. I want to start doing these things. And it's like, but then I have to shove a camera in my face in front of people in the public and talk to the camera like a weirdo. That's not my forte exactly. Not that I don't have the embarrassment bone, but being like a full-blown weirdo talking into a phone in public, I don't know. That might be the one time that I do have an embarrassment bone, because then you've got like people in the public staring at you. And I don't particularly like people that stare, because I particularly try not to stare myself. So then I think that's a self-contradiction, honestly. So I'm just going to stop and say, be who you need to be. Be exactly who you're supposed to be. Listen, I think this is it. I think this has been the episode. You've gotten to know me a little bit. We're gonna head to. It's 11:52 at night. I had to get this done because I was like, oh, if I don't get it done, we're gonna be screwed, because I'm supposed to get these out fairly soon. And nonetheless, we're getting her done. I love every single one of you. I'm not gonna give you a long outro. Not going to do a long one of those. I'll just give you the panel. If you haven't already, I'm going to be the cliche, like, social media guy. Like, follow, subscribe, touch all the buttons. I'm not really sure. At the end of the day, it really doesn't, my influence doesn't affect me. How many followers I have does not affect me. I'm just happy to touch, the hearts and minds of the ones that are willing to listen. So if you're one of those, appreciate you. If you're not, it's all right. Anyways, nonetheless. Anyways, we'll just go ahead. We'll see you on the next one. That's pretty much, yeah. I think I think I need to be done. All right. Anyways, I'll see you on the next one.